to order the February 19th special meeting of the Tiverton Town Council. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have no flag, but we'll pretend.
I got one.
Oh, good.
Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
and
and
justice for all.
All right, Jeannie, you want to do a roll call, please?
Sure, Denise. President DiMederos,
Here.
Vice President Burke,
Here.
Councilor Perry,
Present.
Councilor Vera,
Here.
Councilor Janet, absent, Councilor
Go.
Cook,
here.
and Councilor Edwards.
Here.
We just have Councilor Janet is absent.
Thank you, everyone. General business, overall discussion, review, and potential preliminary votes on FY 2022-23 budget, including individual line items and capital expenses as previously submitted by the town council. I do want to make a correction to this. We won't be talking about capital expenses today. We did spend a great deal of the casino money on our capital for this year. We'll go over capital expenses when the time comes, when we determine what capital money is available to us, and also in conjunction with the town administrator with his plans for all the federal money. So this will be just discussions on general budget. The first one we'll go to is the police department. I see Patrick Jones is here. Patrick, are you here?
I am.
Okay.
1 second. I'm having some technical difficulties here. Hold on 1 second.
It's okay.
Oh, did we lose him? Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
there he is.
No, he's there. I just got to get audio.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Patrick. So everyone, we're on page 13. I don't know if you all have your budget book.
I didn't have anything.
Yes,
Was it
we do.
provided?
I
Yes,
have
we
something
do.
very old that was given to me in October. I don't have anything else.
All
I
right,
have
guys.
11022.
Oh, no, 11022. I'm sorry.
When
So-
was this sent?
This was given to us at one of our meetings, correct?
Yeah, it was, so it is the same spreadsheet. There's no difference in what's in the white book.
Right. So this spreadsheet was given to us probably in October. No,
No, January 10th.
January
January
24th.
10th.
January 10th.
The only thing is that I don't know what you want to talk about. To me, is on page 10.
Yes, it's on. Yeah, Donna, I'm looking at two things here. By the way, everyone, your books are available at Town Hall.
I didn't know that.
But it's exactly
the
the same stuff.
I was just hoping that the headings would be on each page. I had to kind of write them down, and then it's like it's confusing because
Well, it's
There's
because
no-
it goes into one another. Yeah.
I just
But this is the way it's always been submitted. It's no different.
no. Well, they used to have a heading on each page so that you knew that the approved budget, and then actual, and then approved, and then actual. and then-
I know what you're saying, Donna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to try to get that straight in my mind, I have to actually look at the first page,
Well,
and
I
that
think,
that has town school records, and I'm like a little messed up on this.
well, I think in the book, it's a little different. Yes,
would
in the
hope
book,
so.
it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna follow my book because I can actually tell you any questions you have.
Okay.
I think Bill.
somebody-
picked up- I think Bill.
Can
picked
somebody
up on that.
resend that? Because I don't have anything in my emails with this on it.
Let me see if I
Yeah,
can
we
do
were
it.
handed this. I guess we were at a live meeting, or maybe not, but
No, it was
That
in
was-
one of the council packets. So let me, Let me send it
So
to you.
Bill, do you have, I know you have your book, correct?
I have my book. I picked it up yesterday.
Jay, do you have your book?
No, I didn't know it was there, so I'll get it tomorrow, I guess,
Yeah, I didn't know it was there either.
or later
Neither did
today.
I.
I got mine.
Well,
Yeah, let me get this out to you.
It's exactly the same thing, guys. Except Donna.
It doesn't matter if you don't have it to look at it.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna get it to you.
well, it
Hang on a
was
second.
given to us though.
I don't know when.
I'm telling you when, Mike, January, I had it. Because I looked it all over.
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah, but he didn't.
I know. I'm sure he.
Was there a-
Well, let's.
No,
be
I may
honest.
have. I may have, but it doesn't mean that I knew that it was back there.
Let's
Mike,
be-
I
Let's be
went back.
honest.
I went back into my January 24th meeting. If you keep hard copy notes, it was part of the January 24th meeting, I believe.
Okay, well, I was looking for
spreadsheet.
January 10th because that's the date that was just said.
January 24th, if you keep hard copies, I found it in my January 24th meeting.
We said January 10th because it was dated January 10th. Donna, you do, just to make you feel better, when you pick up your book,
Yeah,
every page does have the headings up at the top.
God, I hope so.
No, it does, Donna.
It's confused. I'm trying to like
Yeah, and
print it
I'll
out.
I'll try to help you because I have the headings.
Okay, good for you.
I know. I
That's
just
like the
happened to
blind
be-
leading the blind.
I just
Oh my
happened,
God, don't say that, Joe.
I
As
just
long as it-
happened to be there yesterday to sign some documents for PAR. And that's when
Okay.
I saw the books on the table.
Okay,
Would have been nice to know.
I assume Mike's still looking.
so I just sent it, Mike. It should be in any minute.
I found it.
I have to tell you, we are gonna do the police and DPW, but if we have time, I'd like to get a little bit more done. But I don't want this meeting to go much longer than 2 o'clock, so, and even I'd like it sooner, but. So, all right, Mike, you ready? So.
Yeah.
It's page 10 of what you're looking at. Now I have 2 documents in front of me, so let's hope I don't get confused. All right, so Patrick, the first page, no, I'm sorry, the first page is really all salaries, correct?
Correct. Everything from 3330, starting at salaries with the chief's salary at 5,100, 5,100, all the way down to 5,150, which is sick leave buyback.
Okay.
So that's all salaries, contractual obligations, and overtime. So the only thing, just to kind of draw to your attention, the chief and the deputy chief salary, I'm proposing 3% pay raises for myself and the deputy police chief. This also encompasses 2.75% for all IBPO employees covered by the current collective bargaining agreement. As you know, the AFSCME, the town administrator, is in contract negotiations with AFSCME. There is a 0% salary increase for AFSCME. So there's no, this is, all the AFSCME employee salaries are the same.
Right, and keep in mind that, because we are in negotiations with 3, I'm right, Chris, right, 3. All the the money that we're gonna use for that is in council contingency. So that's where all that is. So once we do get contracts, we'll put them in these line items. The only thing I do want to talk to you about, Patrick, that kind of popped up at me. School resource.
Yes,
Approved budget was 500, 67729 for 20, oh, no, I'm a, approved budget for 21-22, it says 578,963.
578,963.
You see what I'm looking at?
No, I think that was all the clerks.
Oh, never mind, it's just under the,
Right.
all
If you
right,
look-
I see
yeah,
it, sorry, guys. Sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, can I make a
Yeah.
request quick before, just for the future, Chris? when you send us this kind of stuff, could you leave the lines in?
You mean leave the lines? I'm not sure I understand the question.
We used to have a budget with lines.
Under, each line item is underlined across. So
The
we
grid,
avoid,
the grid.
All right, all right.
yeah, the grid. So we avoid what just happened here.
Okay,
All right.
go ahead, Chief.
Okay, so now, after
So
five
really-
one
Yeah, the only changes to this or proposed changes are the salary increases for IBPO, the funding of a community policing lieutenant, which is under the salaries lieutenant. You'll see the increase there. It goes from 5 to 6. The base salary for a lieutenant this coming year, July 1st, based on the contract, is $73,182. So that's an increase there.
I'm confused.
I don't see any, what
I
am I
don't see
looking
what
at?
you're talking about. So lieutenants, you're talking lieutenants.
Yeah.
So the safety officer, so that would be 4 lines down.
Right.
It says 439,092.
That's correct.
So that was requested last year and you're requesting the same this year,
Oh, it's an increase. Because
not
you're not
according to what we're looking at.
Okay. Forgive me, I don't know what you're looking at.
I don't know, it all says zeros. It's all zeros, and then
No, no,
all
no.
of a sudden there's,
Okay. Guys, I'll be right back. But Donna.
Yeah.
If you look at it,
So
Very-
across the top, yeah, I'll, while you're doing that, Denise.
okay, I'll be right back.
Across that line item, it's zeroed out for, and I can't see the headings.
Mike, can we share the screen? Can you share the screen?
Yeah,
stop.
Good morning, everyone, by the way.
all right. So we're looking at this line item here
Okay.
that I have grayed out. So this is for, and the headers aren't at the top here, so I was trying to get that in there, but so the first 0 column is the 2020-2021 approved FTR budget. The second 0 column is the actual 2020-2021. The third 0 column is the approved FTR budget for 21-22. Okay, this isn't lining up with the paper document. I'm trying to read off the paper document. So unfortunately,
So Mike, the
Hang-
first 439,092 is the request for 22-23.
let me just do
No,
something.
no.
Yeah.
The fourth,
Wow.
yes, right, that's, the last one is the request. And the one prior to that is what we gave them last year. Does that
Oh,
make it easier for you guys?
Well, I have a 0, so I don't know what they asked for.
No,
Last
Donna,
year.
listen to me.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm trying to listen. I'm
Okay.
looking at zeros. Okay.
So look at the very last column.
Okay.
That is what they're requesting for this year.
Oh.
The column prior to that is what we gave them last year.
I
All
don't think
those
so.
zeros, I don't
I-
understand those zeros, ignore those zeros. The only 2 columns that are important is the very last one is their request for this year. And the one prior to that is what we gave them last year. What was
So,
approved last
so if
year.
you go to the salaries captain, it says 1.8 million, 1.6 million, 1.7 million, 78,000. There's a differential of 1.7 million. Those represent all the numbers below. And the reason that was done that way is because we didn't plug any numbers in last year because we were negotiating. So that's
Chris,
why there's no numbers there. We didn't break them out that way.
But in the book you did.
This is the book.
We don't have the book.
This
I don't
doesn't
know,
look like my book.
I can't make any decisions on office confusion. I can't. I
Okay,
just can't.
Denise, can I say something here?
yeah.
So
This is very simple. Go ahead.
I know, but
It's not very simple.
it's not. Let's just take the salaries lieutenants across. The very first column with numbers in it. That is the FTR 2021 approved. The next column is the actual 2021. The next column is the FTR 21-22. The next column is the request for 22-23. The one after that is the variance in dollars and then the percents. So
Oh,
when
now
I
you
went to
really-
FTR 21-22,
Oh, there's
for
no
police
percents either.
lieutenants, I came up with a number of 275,268.
Jay, I think you confused me now and I was understanding this.
I don't see how.
Because I don't know
This is
what you're
from
looking
the-
at.
I
But
think-
everyone,
I think
everyone
we're
look
looking
at
at,
the screen. Everyone look at the screen right now, okay? Let's go to the very last column. That is the percent increase. And Chris, if I'm wrong with this, tell me.
Nope, you're right.
So then the next column is the request.
No,
It's
it's the
variance
variance.
between the year before and the request.
Right.
The 439,092.
Right.
Right. That's why the one above that, the 1.7 million is in red. It's a
Right.
variance from
So what's
the
the total though of their request?
I don't
the
even know the
total,
percentage.
the total
What I'm
budget.
asking is, what do you request? Okay, so let's look at the salary for lieutenant. Just look at that
It's-
one.
It's grayed out here.
Okay, so what they are asking for this year is 439,092. Is
Right.
that correct?
That's
Yes, it
correct.
is.
Okay. And what they asked for last year was 439,092.
No,
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 the amount from last year is buried in the 1,799,084. It's up in the
Oh.
captains.
See, that's
could we-
All those sergeants, detectives, first class, second class, probationary, all those amounts were put in the 1.7 because we didn't know what they were gonna be until we finished up with the contract.
yeah, but we've never done it this way. Like, I'd like to know what the actual was.
according to the FTR, it was 275,268.
So there's an increase of 200,000.
What this thing does not reflect is movement within the ranks.
Yes, there is an increase of 200,000 for
Yes.
two reasons. We gave this is a 275 pay raise and another 275 pay raise, so a nearly 6% pay raise. And remember, during contract talks, we only had 4 lieutenants. We changed the planning and training and the accreditation sergeant to a lieutenant. And now we're adding a community policing lieutenant. So we're adding 2 lieutenants plus giving all the existing lieutenants nearly a 6% pay raise. And that's what's reflected in this.
What do you mean
But
it's
to this,
six-
to Councilman Edwards' point, that means the other ranks will absorb that because
Yes.
there'll be less people will move up.
Right, that's what makes it confusing to us is we don't know who, what the movement from one rank to another was, new people, what they became and all that kind of stuff. So when you're looking at these, it gets confusing. But if
Okay,
you go to the
so-
very last number, the total, if you just stick with that, it makes sense.
What
Yep.
total?
The bottom, after sick leave buyout.
Hey, can I make a motion to move this to another day because it's
Yeah,
just too
yeah.
damn, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
too
agree with
confusing.
everybody. I have to tell you, we have never done it this way. I want to see the actual, what I want to see, and that's what I thought I was looking at. So I can't make decisions based on this either, to tell you the truth. Because what this is, the way that this has been presented is you tell me what I spent last year. You tell me when you're asking for this year, and you tell me the reason why it's an increase. We don't go down and look at totals. We don't do any of that because it's very hard to make a decision unless I know why there's this increase on every single line.
May I be allowed to share my screen for a second, just to kind of see, so I can show you something? I think I know what you're looking for.
Yeah, let me find the thing that lets me get out of this. It's
I
not
don't e-
showing.
I
There
don't
it is.
I don't even know how to do what you're doing.
Now I'm working off 3 screens, so it's hard to.
Oh, my God.
So like I've got all these screens up too.
I have a hard time with one, guys.
You want to see this?
I want to see that.
Yes, there we go.
So where do I find that?
So this is what I proposed to you last year. And as
That's an
you
old
can
one.
see, right, this is what you, well, and this is what this shows everything from last year and how it was
Yep.
proposed. What you
This
want
is
to
what
see in
I'm-
this column right here is everything that is proposed for
Right,
22,
this is-
23.
right,
So
this
you want
is
all
how-
of these numbers. And to Councilman Edwards' point, you look at, see, 275, 268 for lieutenant,
Yeah,
but then the 448, 210, this year it goes down for sergeants.
right.
Same
And that
thing
was the
for
way
first class.
that's the way I understood it last. Chris, is there any way we can have it in this format?
I can do that.
Because you gave it to us in this format last year.
I can supply it to the town administrator, so he has it.
Can I ask a question? Like, what's going on with the lieutenants? Is everybody a lieutenant now? Like, what happened?
No, there's a less of a sergeant and more of a lieutenant. So we made a community policing, or I'm proposing a community policing lieutenant, but we did appoint, based on the last contract negotiations that we had, the planning and training sergeant to the
Right.
accreditation lieutenant.
Okay, I remember that. Okay.
Mhm.
And also, Councilwoman Cook, this also represents 2.75, because we were in contract talks that year, then another 2.75 coming up July 1st of 2022. So it's nearly a 6% increase to all of the IBPO salaries.
So during the contract talk, they got 2.75. Am I, right? Yeah.
They got-
And
excuse me,
then after July 1st, they get another 2.7. Is that what you're saying?
that
Okay.
is correct. They got
All right.
2.75 last year, 2.75 this year.
As part of that contract.
That is correct.
Contract. Okay. All right.
All right, so this is what I'm proposing. We table this meeting and we give Chris some time to put it in this format. Does everyone agree?
I'll second that.
Hang on a minute, Denise. Let's
Wait,
look at-
Denise, is it going to be the same problem for Public Works?
No,
Yes,
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Take a look at those.
I think this was an anomaly because of the
Yeah.
lumping of those salaries together.
Public Works has all this information that you want, just as long as you keep the column straight.
oh, in the book,
Yeah.
I can keep the columns straight. That's no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, and here on the screen, it's the same too.
Yeah,
All right, so it's just the police department that's screwed up, Patrick.
Well,
yeah.
Chris, is the fire the same issue?
Nope. Wait a
No?
minute. I don't think so.
Not at the moment. It was just this one because of the contract that was done.
Well, I'm looking at fire and there's zeros too in those same columns, the last year's column.
Yeah, there is. Oh, that's for salary because the contract's coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but last year shouldn't be zero.
No, should not. Public Works, we could do.
You know what? We can actually, everybody go to the next page of the police. General contractual mandated expenses.
Yeah, we can go over those.
Is that done? No, that's still kind of screwed up.
Oh,
No, it's not.
well,
No, because if you look
No.
at the variance column on the right, you look at the next column, which is the variance percentage on the right. You look at the next column, which is the dollar variance. And then the third column from the right is the request for this year. The fourth column from the right is last year's.
That's right. Okay, so that looks
Yeah.
better. See,
the
in
zeros are
book-
there because there was no change.
I gotta tell you, in the book, you guys are gonna find this so much easier because we've got the headings up at the top.
That would have
Well,
been nice
the-
if I was
nope.
told. I didn't know the books were there.
Okay, so we can go to that page 11.
Do you want me to share it or not?
Sure.
Why not? Because you got, yours is highlighted, right?
Well, I can highlight it, yeah.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
So you can
Yeah,
see
that's-
the,
Yeah,
you can see the spreadsheet?
yep,
Okay. So it's all this here that we're looking at.
okay.
And further down, operations.
Yeah, but let's just do, let's just do what Mike has highlighted right now. So the clothing allowance went up $5,000. Or 8.3%, correct?
Correct.
And that's because of additional offices, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay. In-service training. Why did that go up 10%?
So as you can see from the historical, if you go back,
Yep,
we spent that 16,231. So what I'm just trying to do is just square the circle. In-service training is what we use for in-service training. All the certifications for officers, we use the in-service training account and the education account to kind of balance it out. So what I was trying to do was just square that off so we didn't have the need for a transfer. Also, with more officers coming in, I anticipate that we're going to be training more officers more consistently.
so. Give me 1 minute.
So Patrick, what have you spent this year out of that? Or what do you intend to?
He's only spent, and I got that right here. The remaining balance on that right now is $9,000.
And what do you intend to over the next several months?
So what we've been doing, well, for the past, unfortunately, past several years, because of COVID, we haven't been able to have group trainings for many of our in-service trainings. So one of the big ones that comes up during the springtime is firearms. So when we're buying ammunition, which is outrageous, and all the other certifications that we need to do in person, what we've been trying to do is do things
Yeah,
virtually,
come
which we
here,
can, and also other ones that are going to require us to meet as a group. So
You
do I,
can't do games for firearms?
I'm sorry, sir, you broke up.
Can't use video firearms?
You still can't hear you, Mike.
Okay, forget it. Oops, Mike. Don't worry about it, go ahead.
I can't hear anybody.
Everybody went away.
Yeah, I will like, what
Wait, I'm
happened?
back. I'm back.
jeez.
All right.
Oh,
So,
Chief, you got about $9,400 remaining. And I
Right,
think the
you have
question
30
was,
you have
what do you
34%
anticipate?
that you've spent. So what I'm asking is that going to be spent?
I anticipate spending the 9,400.
Okay. All right, so employee assistant program stayed the same.
Yes,
Uniform equipment replacement.
everything stayed the same. The only additions, everything's level funded with the addition of the community policing account and the increase to state psychological test, which is the last one in this area. So the
So the
purpose of the,
community policing account is 2,500,
yes.
and what does that include?
So in anticipation of creating a community policing unit, I wanted to give them a small budget just to buy necessities that they might need. Also, we could also possibly offset training out of that for the officer or officers that would go to community policing. That was the whole purpose of that budget.
Okay,
And any other, they want to get memberships into certain professional organizations, that would come out of that. For those, for that officer, clearly the officer leading the community policing unit and his assistant or her assistant. And then the last one was the state psychological testing. We utilize that budget for not only to test all incoming police officers, which is mandated, we have to get them psychological profiles and testing. But if there's an issue that we require an on-duty or current employee to get psychologically fitness for duty or testing, it comes out of that account. Which I know this year I needed to transfer money in, I believe it was like in the late summer, because we had a shortage in that account because of that. And those
$450.
yeah, those profiles, when we send a current employee to get a fitness for duty evaluation, they're not cheap.
Any questions regarding that? Any of this column? So general contractual mandated expenses. Any other questions? All right. Operations. Why don't I just ask you what's not level funded here?
Sure.
The tires.
You got it. You nailed that one. That's exactly why we went up. Tires.
Yep.
So that's it. You got it. Software
Fuel.
service contracts is in anticipation of, I know we've been talking about this and the administrator's been talking about this. And that also kind of dovetails in with the IT and system support. We've been utilizing the software service contracts, pays for everything from our CAD system, which is the dispatch system, to our accreditation online system, we also transitioned to Police One, which is a virtual training platform. So this way with COVID, and also officers could take video training instead of paying them overtime, they can do it on duty, and it counts towards an accreditation and a training credit. That comes out of that account. Also, we're looking at a training schedule, because the way, excuse me, not a training schedule, a schedule for details and on-duty personnel, because the way that we're doing it now is with paper and pencil. I mean, if I want a day off, I put in a piece of paper saying I request a day off. We're looking into purchasing a system that will automate everything, like almost like a Google Calendar. So this way we can monitor all that. So with the software service contracts, everything that I just mentioned, to include our website, comes out of that service contract account. And we're seeing increases based on the contractual obligations that we have with all of our online virtually based systems. The IT support one, which is going from 20 to 30, I believe, is, for lack of a better description, it's just the increase that we're seeing. We have a person that is utilized by the town and his firm that come in and they service our IT needs in anticipation of some of the proposals and projects that we have coming in the future. The expenses are going to come out of that. We have at least 16 workstations in the police department, not including all our mobile data terminals, not including all the connections that we have with technology. So knowing that the hub of the police and fire department and all public safety exists and sits here at the police department, it's a constant battle just to keep it updated and maintenance. So that is where that extra $10,000 is coming from. And if you look at it historically back, you gave me $20,000, we spent $31,394. So we're transferring money in there to satisfy our IT needs, and it's still not enough. And that's what I've tried to do with a lot of these when I recommended this to the administrators, just square the circle, that we are spending more in these specific accounts based on our needs. So, and all I'm doing is transferring it out of other existing accounts to pay the bills. So IT is, unfortunately, as you all know, is one of those accounts that is not going away, and I can never see a decrease coming in that account until we kind of look at updating a lot of the systems that we have, some of which are outdated. And I think the last remaining sections in this area that I asked for an increase are all energy-based. Telephones, excuse me. So with the telephones, just to kind of address that, that includes all of our internet connections. That includes our cellular connections for all our mobile data terminals in the police cars. That includes our IP phones from Cox Communications. That includes our current internet connection, the Cox business account that comes into the police department. It also includes all of the connections that we have in town for all of our security cameras. So that means Brunel's Beach, Fogland Beach, which is coming online, and Town Farm Playground, which is coming online. The reason why we put it through us is because we get the public safety discount for an unlimited data stream at $40 a month. So with that, we can put it there, and because it's public safety, clearly it's a security camera, but those costs you're probably looking at to just run those systems with the cameras, it's probably about $3,000 a year. And every time we update or we add a system to it, the cost goes up. So that's why you're seeing those increases. The thing that really did it to us is when we switched to the IP Cox phones, because we had the old analog phones, and we switched like the town hall did and the fire department did, and we saw a pretty significant increase. The phones are great, and they're definitely a better phone system, and we were in need of an upgrade, but we're paying for it. And then the last things, as I mentioned, are fuel and electricity. And just so you remember about the electricity, is we pay for the police department here at 20 Industrial Way. We also pay for the 800 megahertz radio tower that's at the top of Hambley Road at the water tower. We pay the electricity to run that 24/7. So there's two bills that come into the police department for electricity. And the lights don't go off here. We're open 24/7.
Patrick, building maintenance, I don't have a problem with what you're asking, but you still have money left in that account, about $5,000.
In
Please
which one? Ann?
Building station maintenance.
Yes,
So spend that, okay?
that is, that's all.
'Cause I know you need maintenance.
So that is basically the account that's used by Mr. Ferrera, who's our maintenance and mechanic. So I can assure you, once the spring hits, that's when everything else kind of comes into play. That I know he's looking to paint things, do things outside, and that anything that breaks or needs repairs, that's where that comes out.
Chief, are you gonna have enough in this account to pay for the plumbing under the station?
No.
I think public safety complex or police department maintenance is a totally separate conversation.
Yeah, and I think that comes with the capital money we have to spend and the priority to that. Anything else?
I just have a question.
Go ahead, Donna.
I was just wondering, when we're talking about software and what they're going to use it for, or IT system and support, was that ever going to come out of the way we're trying to upgrade with the CARES money and the ARPA money?
So there are definitely some improvements that need to be done with the ARPA money, but it wouldn't, I don't know if there's gonna be an offset to this or not. This is what we've been maintaining just to keep what we currently have up and running. But they're gonna be, all their systems are like everybody else's. They are all in dire need of being replicated and updated. A lot of the systems are just antiquated. They're like in the town hall there, they're 10, 12 years old. The firewalls need to be replaced, and all the fiber connections need to be replaced because they're 15 years old. So all the switching needs to be, so a lot of that stuff needs to be done, the connections into an ocean line or a dark fiber connection, to get them more robust. So when he turns on newer systems that are going to be coming online, such as body cameras and the statewide records management system, he's going to be forced to turn into. The current systems he has today will not suffice for those, but it doesn't mean that his current existing systems, for his AFIS systems, his fingerprint systems, his background check systems, his current records management system will be converted over, but there'll still be a service contract for those things.
I guess I was looking for all of these upgrades to come out of other money rather than tax the taxpayer, but I don't know if that's possible.
So if I can maybe, I think, put it in perspective of a personal situation. This is like if you're currently running Windows 7, basically this is, and you have an old computer, this is any money you need to have somebody come in and keep that computer running.
Correct.
And until such time that you decide that you want to or need to upgrade to a Windows 11 computer, and that's where that, and all the software that you might want to upgrade to, that's where that ARPA money would come in for
It
that
would, but-
big
although-
upgrade, not for the ongoing maintenance.
Right, so even if we upgraded all this to brand new equipment, there's still gonna be a service contract to maintain all of that annually. So that this is keeping a normal operating budget cycle for general maintenance of running IT systems for the police department. Anything new that modernizes it would come out of ARPA monies, but the service contracts, unless we incorporate some of those contracts into the purchasing, but we're not there yet. We don't have those numbers to put before us, but there would still be, and it would be kind of foolhardy to take it out of the operating budget for a one-time gain when we're gonna put it right back in the following year. So it's trying to keep a level service budget so that the police department operates with the appropriate amount of monies there to maintain their existing and possibly future systems, if they get replaced.
Any other questions? All right, so we understand this part. We are going to put the salaries and all of that in this
Yep.
format and come back to it. Is that okay with Patrick and Chris?
Of
Okay,
course. Yeah, I apologize. I will work with the town administrator to make
Oh,
sure.
no, it's,
no, we still have municipal court because it falls under him as well, so
does it fall under you, Patrick?
falls
No?
under-
Yes,
I thought it fell under the police department.
it does.
Yeah, it
There's
used
no
to
change.
fall under the
Clerk,
clerk.
It's the same as the past year anyhow. There's no change to it, but I don't know if there's any questions about that. That's the only reason why I put it out there. Although, well, no,
Go ahead.
no, we just budgeted the same as last year. I'm not sure where we are with the judge at the moment or what we're doing and whether that's gonna be any more money, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
All right.
Any
And
questions?
we'll recorrect the salaries so that it's more presentable to you, and we'll bring that up at probably the next meeting.
And the percentage increase would, oh no, the percentage increase would only reflect the increase this year.
Correct.
Okay, because we did give a raise,
We did.
but those numbers.
So the other piece of this, Chief, just so when we get to the salaries, there are salaries that are reflective that are part of the COPS grant. So while the budget looks like it's going up 10%, there is also an offset to that is going to be in revenue to offset, because it's a revenue stream that's going to be coming in to subsidize this department.
that's correct,
Right.
sir.
So,
That 105,938, if you're going based on what the council wants, if with the COPS grant and then taking the remaining out of opera, that would go away.
Right.
right, right, and I was thinking of that as you were speaking about the safety officers. All right, so we'll just come back to that at a
So
later.
is it possible to have a separate one-page sheet that shows the difference because of people moving up or positions being switched from the sergeant to the captain? Because that's what I think you said, Chief, is what in the current year it might show, or yeah, in this year it might show as a sergeant, but next year that position is going to be lieutenant.
Correct.
That way we can see, compare it more apples to apples. And then, even that one pager could show any of those potential offsets.
I can do that for you, sir.
Great, thanks.
All right, so Patrick, thanks for spending a Saturday with us.
No worries.
I doubt this isn't going to be ready by Monday, but what I'm thinking is maybe next Saturday, I'll just put you on quickly to explain the salaries.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's go to DPW.
Thank you.
Let me bring them in.
This looks better.
You there, Rick? Rick? Hello, Rick?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, Rick, so we'll start from the beginning. Salaries pretty much stayed the same. We are at, this one of the contracts, yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So these salaries will change, but like I said, the money will be reflected in our contingency.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about the salaries? Rick, why did your clothing allowance go down?
The clothing allowance went down.
Is it because of the winter coats?
Oh,
No, I'm
no.
serious. I'm not being cocky.
Don't even go there.
No, but I'm wondering, no, okay, I know that. But I'm wondering if 2021, 2022 reflected us buying everyone a winter coat.
I think it did not go down because of that, Denise, because I think that wasn't factored in anyways previously, because it was mid fiscal year when that came into being. The reason it went down is simply the math multiplying the requirements for the clothing allowance times the number of employees. So that's why it's 1,500 for the road crew.
Okay,
Denise, I have a question. It's Bill.
sure.
I know most people don't have the book. But Chris, I think there is maybe a typo in the book compared to the spreadsheet regarding Rick's salary. If we have 88,434 plus 3.01%, the spreadsheet says 91,100. The book says 92,007. I think the book may be wrong, and then quite possibly the total may be wrong. But I just wanted to make that note, please.
Okay, I'll make a note of that and I'll get to the bottom of it. I think I just put in 3% when I did it. I'm not sure. I'll have to validate how Rick did his.
Yes, if I may address that, what I did was my anniversary is again after does not coincide with the fiscal year. So I simply took the existing contract, tried to figure out a little bit based on a guess of not really a guess, but just a math for the salary that would be in place for the last fiscal year, because that's the way it was working out, plus this fiscal year, and then flat or level funded it. So I just did the math at the current contract, factored in which months were not in the fiscal year, and just level funded it like all the other salaries. And the math came out to the 92,007. So that's what I inputted in DPW's request. So it's level funded based on the math for the existing contract for the fiscal year, factoring in that the does not coincide exactly with the fiscal year for the anniversary.
So what you're saying is the approved amount of 88,000 last year is not actually what you're getting.
No, he's making more, I believe, because
Right. So that's why, that's what he's saying.
Right.
That's what, yeah. So that really, because we gave him a raise midway through this, that number increased.
That's correct.
Right, and that's just a case of the contract, which, thank you for renewing it, not being, done at a fiscal period.
Right.
Right.
So maybe the 92, Chris is right.
Yeah, I'll double check it though. Just,
Okay.
If I may, the 92 is factored in on what's existing right now, level funded.
So you're actually making 92 right now. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Right, and the 88,774, that reflects something like 2 years ago.
Right, before the raises.
Right, and and because it came in after the fact, which is no problem at all, but there was like, I don't know, maybe a year or 15 months or so. So it was just retroactive for that.
So you're actually making 92,007.
Yep.
I get it. I get it. Does everyone get that?
Can
Okay,
I ask, yeah, can I ask a question?
sure.
um,
Donna.
The 3%. I'm questioning the 3% all the time. Not that anyone's done a poor job or anything. It has to be what the people can afford. So to explain to me why it's always 3%, even the contracts, 3%. It's
Well,
getting
it's not always
outrageous.
3%.
Well,
But we voted on it. We voted to give him that raise. So it's up to the 7 of us.
Well, if I may, what that was is it was simply a 2% raise for the year that the contract was in. There was because of a lot of turnover and all that kind of stuff.
okay,
The contract was actually not renewed for something like, I don't know, 15 months or so.
Yep.
So there was a 2% raise for the 1 year and then a 2% raise for the next year. So my memory is it's always been 2%.
yeah,
But it's just that the math hadn't caught up with the budget process. But it was 2% for the last year, 2% for this fiscal year. And for the fiscal year that we're working on right now, fiscal year 23, mathematically, it's level funded.
Right.
okay. Thank you for explaining that.
Anyone else? Okay, so I guess we'll move on to operating then.
Okay.
If no one has any questions about the salaries. Okay, Rick, so it looks like almost everything's level funded.
No, the only ones that are all the ones that are,
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right, so uniform didn't change. Snow removal didn't change.
those are the two that are level.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Construction supplies, that went up a little bit, Rick?
Yeah, and if I may, the uniform rental the contract is unknown at this point because it does expire next fiscal year, but we don't know what it is. All I did was on uniform rental, went up the 2%.
Oh, it's actually level funded, isn't it?
No, it's $8 more.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it's $80.
yeah, okay. I guess
So
I kind of
what
thought.
he's saying is based on what he spent the prior year. So the budget
Right.
may have gone up to 4,200. But he may not have spent all 4,200, so he had a 2% to what he expended.
Well, no, if I may, I didn't explain that clearly. The 4,200 was the approved amount. The contract for uniforms will be expiring, but we don't know what the new amount will be.
No, I get that.
So all I did was take the actual amount that was approved and multiply by 2% with
All
an
right.
estimate for the CPI. That's all.
Okay.
So however, if I do 2% of 4,200, it comes out as an additional $840, not $80.
No, it wouldn't be that much.
No, I
That's not
think
right.
like it's just, and I round off.
Oh, no, never mind. I did it wrong. My fault.
It's one too many decimal places.
More like
Yep,
86, but
Yep. Forget it. Rick, you did right. I did wrong.
I do it all the time.
But Rick, when I'm looking at what you've expended so far, you've only expended 33% of that.
On the uniform rentals,
Yeah, I'm looking at actuals.
well,
Yeah, Denise, you're looking at basically 6 months.
Yeah, okay. Right. And
Expense, last expense actual we got was December 31st.
right, all right. Okay,
Denise, it's Bill. Can I ask a question?
of course.
Okay, again, to those that do have the book compared to the spreadsheet, a couple of lines down, paving drainage account restricted. If I'm reading it correctly, it's not matching up in the book. There's a $500,000 request, and in the spreadsheet, there's maybe a $0 request. So the paving drainage account, the book compared to the spreadsheet may not be adding up.
It does not, because I put all the paving in the American Recovery monies. So, the book has Rick's spreadsheet.
Okay, so I should edit my book to cross out the $500,000 and put 0, right?
Yeah, because I have all that in the American Recovery.
Thank you.
And also, just as a general note, and I try to explain this in the line item backup form, there's various things. One thing to, if I may say so, to keep in mind is, for the last couple of fiscal years, DPW has been trying to be, more frugal than usual because of the financial constraints that, the monies coming in has presented to the town. We know there's not as much money coming in, and then Chris and Mike Marcello did a nice job getting some gaming money, which the town appreciates, but that's one factor. So we kept our spending down, but another factor is, for instance, on repairs, the repairs are catching up to us. We did minimal repairs, everything we had to do, but nothing extra. And things are breaking down now more than they were before, because that's just inevitable. When you push off repairs, the budget may look terrific, in that last fiscal year or two, but it catches up to you on others. And for instance, even on this fiscal year, we're going through the repairs because we just have to, faster than we would like to. But even on the last storm, on just the last one, a tranny broke down, so we had to replace the tranny. A belt broke on the conveyor on another truck, and that's just on the last storm. So the older trucks and even some of the newer trucks, the repairs are catching up. So we try to anticipate on these estimates, for the budget, what's going to happen, and factoring in a lot of different things that could happen. And of course, things like heating oil, the budget.
Rick, I just want to interrupt you for 1 minute. You're talking repairs, but that account you're talking about, is that 6648 minor equipment replacement?
Yes, it is. And it's just an example, Denise, of various things like.
Right. No. I was just wondering what I'm looking at. Okay.
Yes, exactly. But even like things like shop tools, not buying as many shop tools the last couple of years, construction supplies, et cetera, et cetera. And then of course you have things like the fuel or the heating oil, electricity has gone up. So I just wanted to explain a little bit of the rationale that I have on the DPW budget request, but thank you.
So in that account right now, you have about 40% left. But that's not counting what you're saying you've done. I'm looking at actuals again.
Yeah,
it's okay. I just wanted to see where we were at right now with that account.
Well, right now, actually, on our budget, if I may, trying to get to that. Right now, on budget repairs, we're going through it about a 6, and we're still holding off a little bit. We're going through at about a 6% faster spending rate than time rate, because we try to track this, of course, every week. So we're going through quicker now than the time. So right now, we're gonna be in the red. So we again try to put off repairs that we don't have to do, but there's not as many repairs we don't have to do because we've been doing that for a couple of years.
All right. To Bill's point before, in the book, the total amount that will decrease by 500,000.
Right, we'll bring it down to
Okay.
451, 620.
Yeah, okay. All right, so,
So your other big increase, Rick, is your salt, right?
Yes, and right now, and I'm always praying for no snow, but we're only in February, we have March, and we only right now have $3,000 left in sand, salt, and gravel. And each truck, because the salt went up, for instance, the salt went up from 46 bucks a ton to $65 a ton. That drastic increase, which is one whopper of an increase, obviously that went up this fall. That was not anticipated a year ago when we went through the budget process. So each truckload cost about $1,800 for salt. So, that's a large problem. But again, you never know from year to year how many storms you're going to have. So that's why we did increase it, but not that much. It went to 100. But that was based on the fact that salt went up about 45%, I think it was, but about $46 to $65. That's one whopper of an increase. And that's the state price.
so the salt account, sand, salt, and gravel account actually went up to 125, 100.
Yep.
Okay,
This is exactly why you can't pay too close attention to the CPI.
what's really, like I've been doing this forever, some years we don't spend half this account. And it's like Rick says, it just depends on what the winter's like.
No, I'll say over the last couple of years, he's actually given money back.
Yeah,
Quite a bit.
definitely, because we haven't had a lot of storms. I remember last year, we were very happy with the balance in this account.
And just as an example, if people don't mind, the storm with the freezing rain, most people probably woke up, late Saturday morning and thought nothing had occurred. But we were out something, I think it might have been 14 hours, because it was a freezing rain and the roads were icing up. So it doesn't look like anything in the morning when people wake up, but again, we put down a lot of product because we had to. And that's just a freezing rainstorm. The other one that went from Friday night all the way through Saturday into Sunday morning, as you can imagine, we had to put down a lot of product there too when we got, the 18 inches or whatever it was that was reported.
All right,
So your other,
Denise, it's Bill. Can I ask Chris a question?
sure.
So Chris, the bottom line here as of right now is not the 1,600,000, it's 1,203,186. That's the bottom line for Public Works. 1,203,186.
yeah,
Well, just take five, well, I don't know what you're looking at, but
I'm trying to find the number.
no, you subtract 500 from that bottom.
We had a bottom number of $1,654,806 minus $451,620, and I believe we have a total of $1,203,186.
No, I got a million,
No.
153,899, but that's,
Right, because you subtract 500. I don't know where you're getting the four something.
yeah, if you
Me
just
neither.
subtract a 500,000 from 1,654,000,
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's 1,154,806.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which is not much of an increase.
Well, don't forget the salaries are gonna be in the accounts contingency, but
Well, I know, but
no, it is what it is. It's,
it is what it is.
yep.
Year after year, DPW tends to be the lowest increase.
It does.
Well, I
So
think,
his other two big items that are in those accounts are obviously the heating oil and the fuel. Those costs have gone through the roof. You know, we went from
Yeah.
209 a gallon or 210 a gallon to 242 a gallon on heating fuel, and we went, the gasoline and diesel prices went up too. So those are, the two remaining bigger items in his budget that he's seeking increases in.
We're paying about 333 or so a gallon now for diesel. That's a lot.
Yep. Okay.
any questions from anyone? Rick has a lot of pages here he's in charge of.
Few,
So hydrant services, that's not him.
right.
Rubbish, recycling, collection.
So, Rick, do you want to explain this one?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I'll just go to that one.
That's a big increase.
Yeah, well,
Yes, on the, and so what's going on that one is a couple of things. One thing is we have asked MTG Disposal, our current contract hauler for trash and recycling. We've asked them for, a 7-month period to see what the increase would be if their contract was extended, because the landfill closes November 30th. So there's 1 month of contract that exists where there has to be a negotiation for the extra hauling of trash. Recycle already goes to Johnston, of trash to Johnston for the month of December 2022. And then 6 months, January through June 30th, for hauling the trash and recycle from Tiverton, picking it up, and then going to Johnston. So the contract expires 12/31/22 this year, and the dump closes November 30th, 2022 this year. So that's two things that are going on. And what makes sense to DPW is to extend the contract, not change horses midstream, or whatever the expression is, and then have some time to see what's going on with how people are dealing with the dump being closed, etc. So that's one big thing, or two big things. The other, of course, is the tipping fees. Right now, the town is blessed. We don't pay tipping fees. We pay, people to work the dump, maintain the dump, cover the trash, etc. But the fees, right now, they're about $47 a ton. I think they're going up to $54 a ton. And the extra over the cap would be $80 a ton. And that's to encourage towns to not go over the cap, obviously. So what we do is we figure out what we think we have for trash. Right now, for instance, on the last calendar year, we dumped about 6,000 tons, and our cap, is, and it varies every year. Rhode Island Resource Recovery Corporation redoes the calculation for every municipality. So we estimate what that will be, our best estimate, and simply factor in another, $36 or whatever it is a ton. So that's why it's increased dramatically. But again, this is just our best estimate. We don't know. We do not know. This our best estimate is the $1,043,000. That's all lined up in the line item backup form. It's explained, hopefully, clearly enough for people to be able to follow it.
Rick, is your increase factor in the cost of tipping fees, the added transportation costs, all
Ye-
that?
Yes, Jay, it's our best estimate on that. But one of the factors that's, really disrupting things again is the fuel cost. For instance, right now, MTG used to have something like a 252 or 232 price per gallon for fuel. And it's now, which is a great thing for the town, it's factored in at 288 or something like that. But again, if prices stay up where they are, which is what we're paying is like 333 or so, you're talking about another 50 cents. And I think they're allowed something like 1,500 gallons a month. So that's an increase, and that goes up and down based on the price for fuel. I think it's the Providence FOB, so, or similar to that. So that is again a wild card. Another wild card, as I mentioned, is how much over the cap the town is, or how much the town is going to be trucking. And again, because we're waiting for an extension proposal, these are simply DPW's best estimates.
Rick, have you also factored in, based on our previous experience, rejected recycling loads and stuff like that?
Well, that it's sort of hard to factor that in. The last calendar year, I think we had 8, which is too many, of course, and that's one of the reasons Sue or I give a pep talk to everybody who buys a bin, and we sell maybe 400 or so bins a year. We give them the handout. We tell them, $500, $600, $800 is way too much to spend for something that's supposed to be free. So we do take the time on all our sales to tell them that. But we have not really factored that in. But at 8 rejected loads times maybe 8 tons, that's only about 64 tons. That's way too many, but 64 compared to 6,000 is not that much. But $800 times 8 is too much.
Thanks, Rick.
And just so everybody knows, when you get a rejected load, by the time it gets to Johnston, that's where it stays. So you get a $250 fee, and you get the charge for the disposal, and it goes against your cap. So people need to be more cautious. We encourage them to be more cautious.
Any other questions?
So the only thing is we definitely need to get out to the at some point, the council is gonna need to make a decision on going out to bid for this, but.
Need to get going.
Right. And
Well,
do we-
whenever you and Rick wants us to, I can put it on
Okay.
an agenda.
All right,
We knew this was coming.
no, we did, and we're still early at the stage, but we need to make a decision fairly quickly as to what we're gonna do after November through the end of the fiscal year. Do we extend this with the current vendor if we can come to an agreement and then go out to bid? Or do we just go out to bid now? It's, those are decisions we need to talk about as a council and ourselves when when I get it before the council on the agenda. But I think Rick's done a fairly decent job of trying to put this together, at least so that we have something to work with for our budget.
So Rick, you're pretty confident that this is somewhat exact?
Well, I wouldn't use the word exact, Denise. This is our best estimate at this time, based on a lot of moving parts. And even going out to bid, at some point, of course, we'll be discussing that as Chris just mentioned. But there's a lot of moving parts with that too, because we don't even know what kind of change there will be on what people want from the public, on how we even pick things up or what they can do, because it's going to be a big change to people. 70 years of being able to go to town farm area landfill and then not having that luxury anymore. That's a big change.
Well, I think there's also some sort of a misnomer that people think when we do a recycling center that they're gonna be able to dump the trash there. And it's some of, we're gonna have to educate people. That's not going to happen. Your trash is gonna be either picked up at your front of your house, or you're gonna get a dumpster and do it on your own. That we're gonna be out of the trash business altogether.
Well, I gotta tell you, this is $90,000 increase less than I thought it was gonna be.
Okay. You want to move on?
Landfill.
Landfill. Landfill, what's, you want to go over what's, your landfill engineering, testing and permitting went quite high.
Well, that's.
Yep.
So I know why, but it might want to be explained.
Correct.
I'm happy to explain that because the recycle center, hasn't been finalized yet. You have to anticipate, well, you don't have to, but it's very prudent to anticipate the possibility that that's going to have to be redesigned and re-engineered. So that's why it went up. It wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't be able to do it for $10,000. It just won't happen. It's more like 60,000. And then the landfill engineering, testing, permitting went up because there's more requirements now from DEM, and there's requirement. Then right now they're actually unknown. They have and maybe people know this, maybe they don't. It's certainly out there in the public, but there's what they call PFAS now and PFOA requirements, and those might be up to $1,400 a quarter. Those weren't even in existence 2 years ago. So if at $1,400, that's $5,600 more a year, but it's not known yet. DEM is still working that out, trying to figure out what testing is going to be required, how often. And then, of course, the DEM instituted with the RIPDs permit, which happened a couple of years ago, the mandate for the RIPDs permit, that testing went up also, and that's surface water and groundwater. And of course, we still have to do all the testing for at least 30 years after the landfill closes, but we won't have to be doing things like elevation, surveys. So going forward in the future, the price I anticipate to go down just because of things like not having the survey of the landfill every quarter or half a year. But the price is still going to be hefty. And again, the 57 to 73 is because of the new requirements from DEM. That's basically why they went up.
Chris, I thought we got out of the on-site waste treatment compliance program business.
So we're not out of it. We still have, obligations to deal with it. We're not paying Tiverton wastewater that
That's
fee.
what I meant, yeah.
And we are still maintaining the comedy system for the pumpers to submit into. We haven't done anything as far as hiring a clerk or doing anything else as far as, creating a system we've done very little as it relates to on-site wastewater, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing something. It's just one of those things that we've been trying to manage it as best we can with little to no money. We haven't drawn anything out of that as yet, other than pay the comedy fees. What I would like to do is contract with Comedy to do all the updates that need to be done for the changes in addresses, the changes in ownerships, and the changes in pumping schedules that actually are being done. Those monies that we also gave to wastewater were for sending out notices to people who had cesspools. We haven't done that. So, those monies would be appropriate to keep in the budget so that stuff can be done.
And DPW's approach on that was because it's in a state of flux right now of who's going to actually be doing it, but the town is still responsible. We simply increased it by 2%.
Because we haven't spent any of that this year,
There will be bills for Carmody that will be coming in.
all right?
It won't come anywhere near the 20 grand, believe me.
Okay,
And we haven't done any mailings at all to any of the on-site wastewater people, so.
any questions?
When are we gonna, I assume we're gonna maintain a couple of workers up there until some point during the capping, right?
So, no, I don't, once we're closed of taking, well, yeah, they'll be up there dealing with the recycling center.
Well, not
But
up
not
there.
as far as the landfill. They won't be operating anything on the landfill. There'll just be somebody there monitoring the recycling.
And again, on the recycling center, the transfer station now, we're going to have to, spend time and resources transferring the transfer station to the recycle center.
Right.
Of course, nothing to do with trash, as Chris mentioned, but there will be a little time after November 30th spent at the landfill transfer station doing that. And we're going to be doing, we might have to do a little grading there with our dozers, etc. But then somebody would be, maintaining and, obviously have to have a person at the recycle center, and depending on how busy it is, whether or not it's going to require occasionally more than one person there. That's going to have to be found out as time goes by.
Okay. And as far as the recycling center permitting and engineering, that money could, because it's a one-time expense, can be moved over to the American Recovery monies. And Rick's right, we are gonna have to re-permit another parcel altogether, so.
Any questions? All right, building maintenance division. That pretty much looks,
Again, another contract is up for in process being negotiated, so that those salaries are just level.
mhm.
And I think it's just basically all level, isn't it, Rick?
The salaries have all been level funded. The only thing that went up that basically.
Oh, I see, fuel, yeah.
Yeah, the fuel went up more than 2%, and that's, trying to gauge what we're spending now and the prices.
Okay. And then parks and maintenance mowing that falls under the DPW accounts that take care of the mowing contract, the field rehabs, the preventative maintenance, and the porta johns.
That went down.
Yeah,
Well, we dropped the number of the value in the porta johns.
Okay,
and the reason for that, Denise, was simply based on what has been required. It started out with an unknown because we didn't know where we were going to be using them. For instance, Pecasset, Bayview, Town Farm, Fogland, Boogamosh. But what we do is try to be, proactive on seeing where we're spending the funds. So that's our estimate for the year going forward based on actual use.
So
okay,
there's a minor discrepancy between what I sent out on January 10th. I had 7,500. Rick has it down to 5,000, and I could agree with Rick's number. I don't have an issue with the 5,000.
so the grand total at the bottom, we have to subtract 500, am I right?
2,500.
500,000.
Yeah,
Yep.
So it's 27,36535.
Yep.
Any other accounts for Rick? I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Did any review of, I know you're not putting capital in the budget, I think that's my understanding, but did you want to review any of the requests for capital from DPW today?
Rick actually
No.
came in late, and so he didn't
Oh.
quite hear what you said, Denise.
No, Rick, I anticipate at some point we will have presentations from all of you. We just gotta kind of get our ducks in a row and decide how much money we have for next year. Considering the casino and the federal money. So we will have a whole nother workshop regarding that at some point.
Okay, it's at some point, but it's not known yet exactly when that would be. Okay.
No. No, this is just what we're gonna submit to the budget committee.
Okay, so am I all set for today?
I think so, unless you don't want to be all set.
No, he's all set.
Well,
Want to
well,
spend
thank-
more time with us, Rick?
well, it's always a pleasure. So thank you all for your time today, and I hope you have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Rick.
You don't have to lie, Rick.
Not at all. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, so it's only 12:30. If you guys want, we can do a few more areas. I'm thinking town council.
Sure.
I don't have,
That'll be
there's
in,
nothing in here though.
Is that near the top or the bottom?
Excuse me.
Is that near the beginning or the end?
It's way at the beginning, Mike, and we don't have anything in our books regarding that.
No, it would just be the spreadsheet.
Okay, let me look.
Town council's on page 3.
Hang on.
Yeah, I have it up on the screen.
There you go.
So we can't do town clerk. Joan's not here, and we didn't ask her to prepare.
The town council is on page 3.
Yep,
I thought the council didn't have anything to do with the town clerk or the treasurer.
We don't.
right,
At
so
all.
we're just gonna do town council, Donna.
Okay,
So our stipends are there, which hasn't changed,
The only thing that changed was council contingency.
right? And I assume you base that on something, right, Chris?
No, I'm gonna tell you, it was just a
It
somewhat
was
of a
just a
guess.
guess.
I mean,
Right, all right, I wanted you to say that.
well, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you, until we put all these numbers together, it's I will tell you that of the 3 contracts, that's where I'd like to be within that, but
Okay.
it's,
You know, I can,
you know as much as I do as we work our way through this, it's, it's gonna be a work in progress, so.
our contingency right now, we haven't spent much.
About $7,000.
Yeah,
But hang on, because Rick might have some issues.
right, and that's what I'm saying. So we've heard about Rick's issues. And that would be one of the accounts we take from, because we still have like, as of November, we had 77 in there, right?
So, yeah, and to the extent that we did any contractual raises last year for either deputy chief, Rick, Tony Lynn, or anything, anybody like that was not in a unionized position or something like that, the treasurer has a practice, she'll take the money out of their existing accounts before she'll go
Correct.
to the accounts contingency, just so that you have some availability of whatever's there, so some of those
Historic-
increases might have been reflected out of some other accounts within those particular line items.
And historically, you're right, around April, May, Denise starts taking this a little bit
Right.
because.
So we still have some, non-union director issues to deal with between now and the next couple of months.
Okay.
So.
And then supplies.
Yeah, I don't think, I would just keep the rest of that pretty much, because you never know what you're gonna need, so.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if Joan is doing this, but Nancy tended to just take supplies out of her account if we needed something, so.
Right.
And that's there if we go over.
Right.
All right. So any questions on that one? I mean, the contingency fund. We may have some idea, Chris, on, no, we won't.
We're not going to know anything about it until.
No, not the way things are going right now, no.
It's way too premature to even discuss what.
Right, so we'll just keep that the way it is. If that's okay with anyone, if anyone doesn't have any objections.
So
All right.
Joan would do the board of canvases, so I don't know if
Right.
you know, so I wouldn't want to do something she would do. Town hall
Yep.
expenses you could do.
Yep, let's
Um,
just do a little, if that's all right with you guys, we'll just keep going a little bit. Is that all right with the council?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay with me.
Okay. Did
But-
Mike Burke leave us?
No, I think he's, oh, wait, I don't know. Hang on.
I don't know.
All of a sudden I looked up and I barely,
Let me see if he's in the other room. He's not.
Mike Burke? Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
he
see him
left.
either.
I know he left the
I
screen.
know my screen blipped and then he was gone.
Well, you know what? Also, we're all back like this. I wonder if his computer went down because this, oh, here it comes. All right,
There it
Mike,
is.
we were worried about you.
You vanished.
No, I keep getting knocked off.
All right,
I
so
switched to my,
I was just discussing if it's all right with everybody, we'll just keep going a little bit.
It's a little
Yeah.
tough when you're in another country.
I
it's
know,
those
Donna.
fees.
I love his little boat behind him.
Donna, I almost said he went for that boat ride in the back.
Well, that's his yacht.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so town hall operating, Chris.
So the only real increase we put there was some heating issues. Obviously, the price of oil went up, so we
Way up.
we put a little increase there. Everything else, we just level funded.
Okay,
Labor Council, you know, legal, under legal services, I don't know
right.
if you want to go there.
Yeah, sure.
well, we usually ask Mike to join us for that one.
So Mike is
He's
here, I
here,
think.
isn't Yeah, he was.
Sure he is.
Yeah.
So, you know, I put this together a while ago and I have had a conversation with Mike and it's, you know, he's been doing this for the same rate since he
Right.
started back in 2019, was it?
Yeah, so why don't we, Mike, why don't you get prepared on what you would propose as an increase?
Okay,
Because, yeah, you've been with us for at least 2
years.
years, right?
yeah,
Oh, easy.
Well, I don't remember the time, just slipped by
I
with
believe it
me.
was December of 19.
so let me
or-
just
or
give you,
January.
I could give you a little bit of background and then I can, I'll prepare something more formal, but.
Yep.
Based when this was bid out, I believe that it was the understanding that it would be, we would combine the legal services with the zoning planning. So that was like a $130,000 flat fee. So it comes out to be about $10,833 a month, I think, that you
Yep.
basically pay a flat fee. And, you know, because I have to keep track from my firm to make sure that, you know, it's at least when I don't take this the wrong way, but profitable for the firm to do it. It comes out to be about 67 hours a month at $160 an hour. That's kind of, we have to keep track about it at $160 an hour. I will tell you that $160 an hour is pretty low for legal fees, you know, across the state for litigation services for cities and towns. I've enjoyed the work, but you know, the average, and I'm not suggesting this is what I'm asking, but you know, the average is like around $200 an hour, basically. I would appreciate if we could consider a small increase in that budget, and some, you know, maybe between, you know, maybe going up to like maybe 175 or 180 an hour, but so that's what I'm going to ask for, and of course you guys can need to, you know, you can figure that out, but and that will also allow me to do a little bit more, you know, give a little bit more time as well, as far, and, you know, I know that there's a lot of things coming up. We've got the solar ordinance that we're doing. That's going to take a lot of time. We've got, you know, we're working on the charter stuff. So I'm doing some other stuff. that normally was a little, a little extra, but I don't mind doing it. It's just that it's hard to squeeze all that into about 70 hours a month. So, and that's in addition to, that's inclusive of going to the council meetings, the zoning meetings and that stuff too. So
But the litigation that is also all the,
that's separate. Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a separate account. And we spent a lot of it, I think, last year because of the TRO. I think that's getting billed at about, is that 195, Chris? I can't remember.
Yep.
That's generally, that's generally fair. I'm not, that's for litigation, that's a little low, but I can, if I'm able to boost the other one, I can kind of justify the 195 for the litigation. And again, that's as needed. That's it's billed as we need it, with the cases. You saw the list of litigation that we have. There are a lot of cases that I'll just sitting there. I don't want to spend a lot of money doing stuff, chasing stuff that that's really just dormant, but at some point we're gonna have to try to get them off the books as well. And that will take some time. So,
Okay.
so I'll put together a proposal for Chris and the council to consider, but that's generally the overview we're at. And then of course, I don't do any of the labor stuff.
Right.
And just as a comparison, I I get along Tim. I think Tim bills at $200 an hour, Chris, if not more. I think two something. Yeah. So
Yep, I agree.
So
And
the other increase that we'd be looking at now is, just so you know, the prosecutions, I know that we went out, we hired a prosecution attorney. I'll tell you, we're going to be going out soliciting another one. Because the services that we have for the individual we hired will be coming to an end. So there are very few people who are going to be able to bid on this. We've been told a number of times that, again, the rates are just too low. So we did put a little bit of money in there, but I think we put it out the same way that we've done in the past, but I'd like the council to have a little bit of leeway just in case, we can't get, competent people to apply for this.
and that's something I did talk to Chris about. Todd Romano, who actually is now with the firm, he actually did prosecutions for, I think, Hopkinton and stuff. So that's something that, if we do, depending how much time it takes, we might be able to maybe roll that in as well. But that's something for the council to decide.
I think we've done that in the past with other firms where one of their lawyers have dealt with the prosecutions.
That's just something that I don't do personally, but I don't know if it, again, I don't know if that will be economical, given that even that with the 17.5. So, because that does take a lot of time. It's a lot of office time away.
So we have a number of arrests that we do. We're pretty high up in those numbers. So and that's what the issue is. And that's why the people who've been looking at bidding on this have come back and spoke to both Chief Jones and myself about the volume of cases that they're going to have to deal with versus the value that we're getting them, or it's just not appropriate. But we can have that discussion when we go out to bid.
All right. So Mike, do you think you could get something for us by next Saturday, or is that too
Yes.
soon?
No, I can get you a letter. I can work on it.
All right, so I'll put you on for next Saturday.
Okay.
All right, planning board, we have to wait till we have one of their representatives.
We could, this was submitted by the planning board.
Oh, all right,
So they're just putting it as a level fund
Yep.
from what they had the prior year.
all right.
And then the zoning and that number on the zoning board of review is basically just the stenographer.
Yep.
Town sergeant,
I just have a question though. Has anyone reached out to, would it either be me or you apparently, but Lisi, she was talking about, and I think it was at one of our joint meetings with everyone, that at sometimes she needs to go for advice and she doesn't really have an account to spend for that.
so it depends on what the advice is, because she's allowed to use tier engineering if it's an engineering issue. But you're right, they don't have a separate private accounting.
Yeah, she told me occasionally she needs an expert, like
Okay,
that's not Par or Mike.
so I'll
Um,
reach out to her to see if she wants to amend this budget, but that's
Yeah,
not,
could we?
this is what was
Because
submitted, but
I feel bad because she did say something about it at the
Okay.
joint meeting, and I've had I don't know if you remember, Chris, but she did have a problem and I spoke to you about it and she did go to someone.
She did. We told her, I forget who it was she needed to speak to. I think she did speak to Steer, but I think she also spoke to somebody else, whether,
Right, and I believe she was gonna submit that bill.
okay, all right.
So I think maybe we should just touch base with her to see if she wants us to consider something.
Okay.
All right,
The FTR, I would leave for Joan. That's her number. It's a number that she controls.
how about the town sergeant?
The town side, oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. That, I'm just level funding it from the same as last year, this year.
Did we go down on that because we
Yeah.
didn't have meetings?
We went, because of COVID, we cut everything during that,
Okay.
20 to 21 cycle.
Right,
And then we did think it was kind of unfair to like what we did to her, because she still had to post the meetings, every
okay,
meeting, and so we put it back to,
1,000.
I think it was 1,500 before. So we gave an increase to 1,000.
Okay. You want to do yours?
Yeah, we can do mine. That's fine. There's really, it's, the only, Mary Lou's under, personal services contract. So it's the only real increase I have is our copier died, our photocopier. So we are now on a lease for, a very reasonable, copier that we had to do. And our internet service bill has gone up. That's the only really, other than Mary Lou, the only two items that we put in for. I did reflect what the council gave me as far as an increase, because that's already been done. So that is still just level from where the council put me. So all that does is adjust it from where it was budgeted the current year to where you have me now. And
Okay.
it'll stay that way until you do something in the next cycle. So it's that all that 2,850 just level funds it to where you provided my salary.
All right,
So
Chris, what fund is, our recordings come out of?
So I'm not sure I understand the question. What recordings? Like when we do
Daniel that Reese.
so
Or Andrew Reese,
that comes
rather.
out of 7590.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I just wonder because above that is Zoom IT and there's nothing in there. And I was just thinking,
No, we were gonna put money in because we weren't sure really how that was gonna work, and we stripped it out last year. We originally put some extra money in that because we thought we were gonna be doing it full time for quite some time. And as the count started to break, very similar to where we are now, as we went through the Omicron, there was the Delta, and before that was just the original, and it was escalating to a point where we didn't think it was ever gonna go down. And we were gonna be on all this technology for a while. So, but then the count started to break and go away, and then things opened up, so we took it out of the account, and we figured we could do it, and then the CARES money came out, and American Recovery monies came out, so we figured if we really need to do something, we should utilize those funds, because this is really kind of, we're hoping it's a one-time issue, but in the meantime, I've been paying those kind of service fees out of the 7590 account.
Okay.
And it's, we've been spreading them across other individual accounts as well. Like planning, zoning,
right.
harbor, but those who don't have budgets, I've just been absorbing.
But one of the pushes for the American Recovery Act money is to get cities and towns more technologically up to date. So I know that a lot of cities and towns, and that's one of those almost like a pre-approved expense that.
Right.
So
that
yeah.
we do have that in to modernize the town council chambers, so that could be a hybrid meeting, so that we shouldn't have to worry about that in the future. But again, it's an initiative we need to get off the ground and just do. But I'm going to need the council to approve to spend those monies out of there, but that is what it is.
And I think there will be a movement. I don't know if it'll pass this year, but eventually we're going to get there, that there'll probably be a requirement in the Open Meetings Act to allow people to participate in a meeting through Zoom, while the elected officials may have to be there in person, but to allow public comment through a Zoom type forum. That's probably something that's being considered. I don't know if it's going to pass this year, but I think people have gotten used to it, and that's something that people are going to more comfortable with. And I think that's what the law is probably going to require. So the better, be a lot better if we can get it, wired now, because we're going to.
Yep.
And nothing would prevent the council from doing it if they want to do it as a matter of just their own transparency, to allow people to stay at home and comment on, things that's going on in the council instead of actually going to a meeting. So.
Well, the council has been pretty forward looking as it really, but doing the meetings, they have always done the live streaming through
Right,
YouTube videos. You can't participate that way, but
Right.
and I know there's been a big push to have the planning and zoning meetings done that way too, so people can at least view that they
Yep.
don't have to come out and do this. But ideally, it would be nice to do both that and some sort of mechanism where people could communicate, like a Zoom. So it's a hybrid meeting, and
Right.
we're just not there yet, but we absolutely, it would be a great idea, at least for council, planning and zoning. The others, even if they just did, while they were here, did a Zoom and people could see it, it would be great for them to see as well.
I think
Anytime you
they
can put stuff out there and be transparent.
Yeah, right now they're
great.
focusing on the big four, like you said. So school committees, town councils, zoning and planning. So I expect that they're going to get swept into at least allow live streaming.
Where do you guys think we are with the governor and Zoom?
Oh, so I'll just give you a quick update. I did send an email to the town administrator. So the governor expanded it through March 24th. If you are meeting in person and the public is allowed, you do no longer have to Zoom it or broadcast it. However, if you are meeting in person and the public is allowed and you have an item on the agenda that would require by law public comment, say like you're considering an ordinance change or a public hearing on a liquor license, you still have to allow people to participate through alternate access or alternate means, which would, in our case would be Zoom. And because we don't have the ability, and we can talk about this, I don't want to get too far off, but because we don't have the ability to have a hybrid meeting yet,
We would have to do it just Zoom.
the default would probably be just Zoom to keep it safe, but that's something you'll have to decide as a council.
So Mike is reaching out to the AG's office to try to get clarification on it, just so that we can fully understand the way the AG sees it.
But it sounds like for now, we'll be doing it this way till March 24th. Is that correct?
That's my hunch, yes.
Okay.
If my legal analysis is correct, that's probably the best way of doing it, yes.
Maybe my birthday present will be to get rid of Zoom.
And that'll be it. I think that once the executive power of the governor ends, and so I don't think there'll be, unless there's a, God forbid, there's another uptick, but I don't think we're gonna go any farther than that.
All right. Any other questions? All right, the land use, should we wait for the building inspector?
I probably would.
Okay. That's all right. We'll invite him, or, well, I know he's out on a leave of absence, but the present one that's filling in for us. All right, probate.
So again, probate is something that Joan deals
Joan,
more with
that
than
is
what I
Joan.
do, but I do think it's level funded from, let me see.
Yeah,
It is level
but-
funded, so.
Yeah, but we'll wait to see. Maybe we can invite Joan Joan will be with us next Saturday.
she
Oh,
will.
no. Don't we have another one of these?
We have one Monday, but
It's a holiday.
Monday's a little bit of a problem because it's a holiday. It was very difficult to convince people to come to that meeting.
So do you want me to cancel it, or?
Well, I'm just trying to think of what we have on the agenda for Monday. I don't have that in front of me.
Do.
Jeannie, do you know what we just covered? Because I think we just covered Monday.
On Monday, we had Public Works, Debt Service, Town Council, Legal, Town Administrator, Tax Assessor, and the Tax Collector. So we knocked half of it out already.
All right.
Quite a bit of
No,
it.
it's only the tax assessor and the tax collector we haven't done. What do we have? for the-
And that, we haven't done debt service.
So that would be when we bring the treasurer in anyhow. I can speak to it, but they're standardized payments. There's nothing really out of whack there, but I mean, I would prefer that Denise be there when we do it because it is her, bailiwick.
So would you like to so the only people you have asked to come to this point would be the tax assessor
Right, and I'm sure we could do those very quickly on next Saturday if you wanted to, because they're not very big budgets.
Okay, so I know next Saturday, there's a few council members that can't make it, correct? So why don't we do, because my plan for next Saturday was to have John and the budget committee join us, but I think it's too soon and I would really like the whole council to be present at that.
Okay,
So we can cancel Monday night if that's okay with everyone.
Yep.
And then we just,
Sure.
next Saturday, we start earlier at
Meetings?
9 o'clock and we can get some of this done.
Is that canceling both meetings, Denise, on Monday?
No, the other one is Mike's meeting and I don't think he wants to cancel that. Do you, Mike?
I prefer not to unless,
No, I can go to that. I can go to that. That's no problem.
Kind of
we
need to
can
do
go
it.
longer with that meeting, Mike.
what's that?
I said we
Oh, we can go
with that
longer.
meeting.
Yeah, we could.
We can have supper together at 5:30. All right.
And
so
I
we'll
will get
cancel,
you that, I will definitely get you all that police salary stuff. So it's much more clearer for you, so in advance, so that you have it.
You know what else we could cover very quickly?
Sure.
It's way at the end. The charities, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
let me see.
Civic appropriations.
Yeah,
Trying to think.
because we still have Chris, you and I'm off on Monday and Tuesday, and I'm gonna see you on Tuesday. We'll set an agenda for Saturday and then we'll
Okay.
try to figure out another meeting. But I'll talk to you all about
So
another meeting.
on the big spreadsheet, it's on page 15, I think, the associated activities and the
Yeah,
boards and commissions, economic development.
yes,
Okay,
because we still need to bring the recreation department in, we still need to bring senior center in, so, but I think we could look at these.
Actually, some, yeah,
it's actually on page 16, right? The
16.
Specific appropriations.
Is there an increase anywhere?
Well, we've had some requested, these are
Okay.
what they requested. I didn't pair these back yet. But my gut would be that we would either do a level funded and look at the new request to see if you would entertain any of the new requests.
So are the new requests reflective in this?
They are, so like Newport County Mental Health is in there. Trying to think what the other one was, the Wildlife
Wildlife
this is new to
Rehab
me,
is new.
Wildlife Rehabilitators Association. They're looking for some monies. You know, I know people like to ask, but you know, I know that times are tough and the town council is not, you know, you like to stay fairly stable with the things that you've been doing, and I would expect that that's where you want to be. I just need direction that that's what you want to do, and I can let people know where you're gonna stand.
Chris,
So-
one of the, I'm sorry, Denise, to interrupt, but one of the things that, with the opioid money, for the mental health
Yep.
groups, to the extent that they are, can devote, I think we can spend that money if they devote it to like, opioid addiction or addiction recovery stuff. I think you might be able to
Okay.
give them, I don't know, that's something the council can consider. I know that my town is considering that with a local group too, so.
Okay.
How much money was that, Michael? I forget.
I think, was it 176, Chris?
I don't know what we're getting. That's, I haven't been able
Oh.
to figure that. I know that there was an announcement came.
Did
and
we
there
not
were
get it yet? 'Cause
percentages, But I
think
never
you-
knew the total amount to apply the percentage to. So I haven't seen from the AG exactly what we'd be getting.
I think we might have already got it because the treasurer had to give a routing number to automatic deposit. So I'll check with Denise.
Okay.
So
All right.
we'll get that done with you, Donna. I thought it was like 176, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Well, let me just-
$176,000, are you saying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. No
It
crack
has to be.
pipes.
No,
It
what?
has to be used for that purpose.
It has to be used for, addiction purposes, those type of things, mitigation, treatment, those type of things, outreach.
So we could use it, we could direct it to one of these groups,
If they
some of it.
agree to devote it to that, it's kind of an open question, but yes, I think so.
So I'm getting confused looking at this. I don't know why, but the visiting nurses did not ask for an increase.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. East Bay did,
Yeah, let me look.
because it says 5,000, 10,000, 5,000.
Yeah,
They don't level funded.
yeah, I think Mary Lou just put in whatever they had asked for, that I didn't cut anything back yet.
So East Bay asked for 10,000, so they asked for
Yep.
5,000 more.
Right.
If I remember, they always ask for around that.
Can I ask a question?
mm,
And maybe I should ask Mike Burke, because he might know. What does East Bay Community Action do?
Oh, I can tell you that because
Go ahead,
that's,
Denise.
right,
Well,
Mike?
either
I
one of you,
can.
whoever.
Well, I can just tell you what I know from being a part of Singing Out Against Hunger. They help, we give all our money to them because they feed families. They have food pantries over here in Tiverton. They have food
Oh,
pantries.
so they run the food bank in Tiverton and
Yes.
stuff like that?
Yes, they do. They also, and Mike, you can
Does that have
elaborate
anything to
more.
do with the, what do you call it, head of the senior center? Meals on Wheels?
Yeah.
No, they don't. Meals
No.
on Wheels contract is, I think, I'd have to ask, I think it's with Warwick.
Mike, does
Senior
East
Center,
Bay
but I'm not
run,
sure.
do they
So East
also,
Bay,
go ahead.
so East Bay is a community action program, which came out of Johnson's War on Poverty. So they do a lot of income support and indirect support services. They usually, I forget if East Bay has it. I think they do. They have, they operate a WIC program.
Yes.
They have homeless support programs. They have some homeless sites, permanent supportive housing type or transitional housing type programs. They have a federally qualified health center for low-income folks that's located in Newport. They run Head Start, and there's a Head Start program here in Tiverton. There's
Yep.
the food pantry in Tiverton. They run the LIHEAP program for Newport County, which is oil heat assistance program. And I know I have missed many things that they do, but they also have in East Providence a mental health center as part of their work, which in the health center in whatchamacallit in Newport also includes behavioral health services.
So they provide medical for family practices, dental assistance.
Yes.
A bunch of stuff.
Yeah, recovery.
I think in Little Compton, they also have a food pantry, right, Mike? Because I think that, I'm pretty
They
sure.
might. I'm not sure if they operate the one in Little Compton. They might.
Well, I do know.
They have several of them. Yeah.
I do know that Singing Out does contribute to that food pantry, and I think it's via East Bay also.
So they also did during the pandemic deliver meals to seniors, in addition to what was done on Meals on Wheels.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yes, they
I
did.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think they did. I'm pretty sure I know they did that.
So they
They
are very
have
active
other.
here in Tiverton.
Yeah, they have other programs for seniors. I mean, they're a very well-run entity, very well respected. They have some family centers that work with families who need assistance. They have a volunteer income tax assistance program, a health equity zone. They have a career closet for low-income people who are going back to work and need some help with that. Some senior services and the like. Weatherization.
Yeah, we may not be able to really make decisions on this one. What do you guys think?
Well, we need to know what kind of money we're getting from that drug money or whatever.
Yeah, because am I right? But Newport County Health, is that a new request?
It is.
Yes.
Well,
I think it is.
new this year. I don't know if they've done it in the past.
I
We haven't
don't-
funded them in the past.
I think they did years ago, but not within the recent past.
I can't remember it in the past 5 years, but
No.
But that might have something where the opiate money could go into.
yes, one is wondering.
Yeah,
Because I'm
and I
sure
think
they deal with addiction over there.
maybe we can utilize that to help with the whatever work they're gonna do with the police department as well.
Yes, I was thinking of that also.
I was thinking the same thing because the these guys got their act together and would efficiently use everything we give them.
All right, so do you want to come back to this then?
Sure.
Sure.
And then library, we can't
So
do.
I will, she did ask me, she needs to get before her board before she comes to you.
Of course.
And she gave me some dates. I just don't have in front of me at the moment.
Okay,
but
that's
it-
okay.
So she couldn't do this week or this coming Saturday.
Well, like I
Um,
said, I believe we're gonna have more meetings.
Okay,
We're doing all right, though. John was hoping that we'd have something for him mid-March, end of March. So I'd like to do it sooner than that, but, all right, so I think we could call it a day if that's okay with all of you.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Donna is waiting.
Oh, Joe, she beat you to it.
I couldn't get my mute off quick enough. Second.
Jeannie, are you gonna post on the Secretary of State's website that the Monday meetings are canceled, please?
Yes, I've already got it marked with a cancel. I'll upload it to SOS. Do I need to
Thank you.
email that to everybody as well, or is the cancellation on SOS sufficient for today?
That's enough for today, I think. It's up to you guys, though, if you want to, but that's fine, yeah.
I'll see if I
Yeah,
can.
I'll touch base with Deb. I don't know if she was expected at that Monday meeting, but I'll send her something.
I should be able to log into the to the website, and I should be able to send that to the counselors as well.
Joe, next Saturday, I know you can't make it at 9, but will you be able to join us at 11?
Yes.
All right, so what I'll do is try to make it Chris, did the fire chief give us any idea when he'd be prepared?
I think he'll be ready by next Saturday.
Okay, so we'll put that on later in the agenda, so Joe, because I'd like
Okay.
Joe here for the bigger ones.
Yep.
Is that okay, Joe?
Yeah, that's fine.
And like from
Thank
9
you.
to 11, we'll do some of the others we mentioned, like the treasurer, the town clerk. Because we can't even, the treasurer and town clerk tells us what they're doing, but we have no jurisdiction over that whatsoever, so. All right, well, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, Council Edwards,
Yes.
Council Vieira,
Yes.
Council Burke,
Yes.
Council Cook,
Yes.
Council Perry,
Yeah.